homes. But one doesn't have to be a fan to acknowledge a simple truth about his recent jury trial. I think the primary reason he was acquitted of those sex trafficking and RICO charges is because he was overcharged in the first place. Mine is not to opine on his guilt or innocence on any of the charges the feds brought against him. But I predicted months ago that he would beat the most serious charges because, as usual, prosecutors have a really bad habit of overcharging black men. Dave Chappelle said it best: Puffy is in a RICO case all by himself, man. Hilarious and arresting at the same time. When prosecutors put a target on the backs of black men, they throw everything at them just to see what sticks. And too often, just like in the Puffy case at the very end, they move to dismiss some of the charges and then double down on the ones they think they can win. It's racist and it's wrong, and somebody ought to say so. I think I just did. Not for the benefit of Puffy, but on behalf of all the other black men who have been and sadly will be woefully overcharged in the future. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
With Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And of course, we're going to bring you all the headlines, all the trending topics that have had the timeline buzzing, your group chat debating, and maybe a little bit of curiosity piqued. So tonight, we're getting into some things. It's legal tea with a side of seafood boil. That's what's going on tonight. We're talking that lady, Faith Evans, versus Biggie's estate. You know, I thought all of this was settled, but apparently not. Law and Order continues. That seems to have been kind of the theme of the summer, low-key. A lot of legal energy there going on. Also, Karrine Steffans is back in the mix. We'll get into that. That's interesting. And there's a new twist involving Michael Jackson's estate clapping back on a longtime friend. We got the details about all of that. But before we get into those things, you know, I like to start the night off with a couple of conversation starters. So, you know how fans have the eagle eye, right? And if you post something accidentally on social media, is it actually accidentally at this point, or is it accidentally on purpose to drop clues? Well, Megan Thee Stallion posted a photo, some say in her backyard, maybe it's on vacation, tropical backdrop, pool, you know, all of the things, bikini, posing, looking lovely. And in the back, in the corner, way up in the top, people are speculating that the light-skinned gentleman laid out on the little tanning bed, you know, the recliner, was one Klay Thompson of the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I don't know. It was a far-away photo. It looks like it could be Klay. Could be. But we're unsure. Andy?
He does have a doppelganger.
That's right, but the doppelganger is a little thicker than Klay.
You know what? That dude did look kind of thick in the background too, though.
I don't know. We'll have to see. You know, fans are going to be on it, and some are speculating that, you know, the peekaboo was, you know, sort of a soft launch, that it was on purpose. We shall see. All right. So, are you a fan of SeaWorld? SeaWorld San Diego. I mean, I know it was a big part of my childhood. I know it's fallen out of popularity. Save the whales and whatnot. We don't want them in captivity. However, SeaWorld San Diego has kicked off a hip-hop throwback concert series. Yes, you can ride the Manta Coaster, check out some dolphins, and then catch a P.D. Pablo set, right after. Or hit it off with your girl Trina down in San Diego, right? Culture's everywhere, apparently, and San Diego is among them. So let me know if you would head down to San Diego and check that out. I mean, I think I would. Let me tell you a couple of the acts that they have in addition to Trina and P.D. Pablo. They have Genuine. They have the Turned Up 4, which is Paul Wall, Jaquan, Bubba Sparks, Waka Flocka Flame, Soulja Boy and Bow Wow, Fat Joe. So,
when is this again?
The first one is this weekend on the 12th, and they're every week after that, the 19th to 26th, et cetera, et cetera. August 9th is Trina, the 16th is Genuine, the 23rd is the Turned Up 4.
Hey, the Turned Up 4, I might have to pull up on that one. Paul Wall? What?
Yeah, Paul Wall, baby. And last up, there's been a lot of conversation about Red Lobster and their new menu and what it's doing and how people are excited. There's been long lines. People are back at the Lobster, not just for the Cheddar Bay biscuits. There's the drink flights and all of that. But people were complaining that the new seafood boils, they lacked a little flavor, right? So, and I'm a snack connoisseur, so I am interested in how things are seasoned, how they taste. Andy?
See, I seen a couple reviews online about those seafood boils on YouTube. I think it's all about the location.
I agree
because
with
some
that
of the videos
wholeheartedly.
that I've seen, the seasoning wasn't an issue. But I did see a couple that was like the seasoning could have been a little bit more. So I think it's about location and the chef.
I think it's 100% about that. They might just have to go back in and reissue the instructions in an instructional video, because it really is how your meal goes really goes as to who's back there chefing it up for you. However, this CEO, remember, he's a young guy, young black guy. He responded to the critiques right away. Even Plies got online and was like, the seafood boil wasn't hitting. Okay. And so he says that the company is revamping its seasoning blend and finishing sauces to deliver bolder and more authentic flavors. And the new updates will also include an Obey and Parmesan and a bold new spice one, right? So they're giving them spice levels as well. Could be a marketing ploy.
I'm with that, right?
Right.
But then I feel like there's going to be individuals that's going to say, oh, it's too salty. Like, when it comes to food, it's like give or take. If you go on a Yelp review on a restaurant, you probably would get deterred from it, but then you actually probably missing out on something good. So I don't know. It's like, I don't want him to like acquiesce every time to every criticism. Like, you're just going to have to stand on, some of the stuff that you already got set in.
So, we'll see what happens. I still like his moves. Make it happen, make it hot. When we come forward, we're going to get into Karrine Steffans. We're also going to talk a little bit about Robert Griffin III. He's catching more Angel Reese heat. And, of course, the rest of these trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah. At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. And I thank you, thank you.
Peter, Horthead, let's bring the nail gun over here.
Jose stands tall atop his sustainable flooring company.
Totally. It's renewable and moisture resistant, but we have several green options too. Or we got some beautiful reclaimed oak.
But floored by his success, he needs to hire more installers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop, Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So, of course, you know how this goes down. If at any point you want to join the conversation, 800-920-1580. Of course, you can hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. We have an app. Go download it. There's lots of fun things happening over there. If you're online, hop in the YouTube chat. They are busy, active, and chat. They have a lot to add to the conversation. So, before we get into Karrine, Faith, and all of those things, right, we got to talk a little bit about RG3, Robert Griffin III. Now, he is taking a lot of heat on social media because we know he's had a little thing with Angel Reese. We recall the conversation before that started a lot of blowback because he said that you could tell Angel Reese couldn't stand Caitlin Clark, etc., etc. Well, Angel Reese was just announced as the cover athlete for 2K. Yeah, for the WNBA edition, right? So, as these crazy internet people do, you know, they just can't help but showing their racism. There are some people that were passing around altered images of the cover featuring Angel, featuring a gorilla or a monkey in Angel Reese's jersey, right? Replacing her on the cover. And RG3 thought that he would use this moment to repost the image, but saying he was doing so in defense of Angel Reese. He said, all right, this has got to stop. There is no place for racism in this world. Whether you like a player or not, Angel Reese should never be called or depicted as a monkey. I have been quiet on the Angel Reese front because she shared a video that aided in my wife, kids, family, and friends receiving death threats. Physical harm to my family and friends, threats of sexual violence to my children on social media and beyond. That will never be okay with me. I never attacked her or her family when I stated and backed up with clear basketball evidence that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. It's sports. Everybody won't like each other. People in Angel's inner circle called me and told me I was right, and Angel Reese was grown to hate Caitlin. But all that being said, because he went on to say a bunch of other stuff, yada, yada, yada. Angel Reese or any black man or woman should never be called or depicted as a monkey ever. Stop it. Why would you even retweet that? And go into, like, what's going on, guy? Did you have to say something about it? Do you feel that retweeting the image? Now, you know, social media is real tricky right now, right? So, perhaps, he, you know, didn't understand what he was doing. But he said 10 hours ago, there is no place for racism in this world. There is a wrong side and a right side. I will stay on the right side of history and support all people. I spoke up in support of Angel Reese against racism, not to start drama, but I won't let anyone twist the truth just because it's an inconvenient time for them. Instead of trying to check me, just tighten up your circle. They're calling me saying you hate Caitlin Clark. Why would you pick this moment and on that imagery to have that conversation, RG3? He goes on to say, we need more people to build bridges between us, not walls to divide us. The only way to find unity is talking through our differences. Yo, bro, what are you talking about? And why? Why now? Like, how tone deaf can you be? It's just no reason. So we'll see what develops with that. But clearly seems a little more than just I'm commenting on the state of women's basketball. Nobody's even talking about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark right now anyway.
Yes, they are.
I mean, but
not with them beefing against each other.
Yeah, like nobody's trying to say Angel hate. Like, we're not on that. Nobody is on that page right now. They might be debating their skill set, who's a better player or things of that, but nobody is talking about the interpersonal reaction between the two of them at this moment. And for him to retweet that with the video game cover of Angel and that inappropriate picture, knowing the type of commentary and response that he invokes, just seems real. He does a lot of things that are like, you know, all skin folk ain't kin folk, in my opinion. Sorry. Andy, I see you contemplating.
I saw that image before RG3 reposted that, right? I woke up with him trending or whatnot. Didn't know what was going on, but I saw that he reposted it. I feel like him saying what he had to say, there was nothing wrong with what he said, right? I mean, when I first saw that image, I was like, damn, like, because trust me, Angel Reese still gets hate.
No, 100%.
You know,
100%.
There's a page that I don't even follow, and that's what I hate about the algorithm, but it's like a page that shows like lowlights and stuff like that. And, you know, it's like every post is just showing all of Angel Reese's blunders. And it's not even just that page. Like, they're just people that's questioning her talent. She's garbage. Why is she getting all this, you know, publicity and stuff like that? So when I saw that image, I was just like, damn, this is it. This is going a little bit too far. I personally don't see anything wrong with RG3 posting it and saying what he had to say. I think a lot of it might be he probably feels like he needs to do some damage control, right? This is an opportunity.
But is it damage control to repost that and say this is wrong, but people in your crew are still saying you hate Caitlin Clark? Like, what the heck?
Where was the heck? Like, is she still saying stuff that's hateful?
I feel like it's just RG3 is, as cold as the North Pole right now, right? And this seems to be the only thing getting him attraction. He's not on ESPN anymore.
I mean, I don't know. He pops up on my timeline.
Or
all the
is
time,
he? Is he still on ESPN? I don't believe
he's
he
not
is.
on
Right?
ESPN,
Yeah.
but-
So I think that he's just trying to jump in the fray, like reconfigure the algorithm. Not that he can't, but it seems particularly.
Everybody does that though.
Of course, I'm not saying they don't, but. You're sitting there, I'm innocent. I just want to bridge the divide and have us be able to talk sports.
And what's wrong?
But I am going to highlight at every given portion the most racist aspect of it and use that as the backdrop to explain why you hate this white female basketball player.
Who hates Caitlin Clark?
Angel Reese. That is what RG3 is saying. And he's saying that people inside Angel's camp came and told him that, and that she needs to tighten up his circle. And he took the posting of that photograph, that altered image, as the opportunity to say, don't be racist. Oh, and by the way, you still hate Caitlin Clark. And I know it because this is why.
Got it. A lot of that stuff went over my head. So the issue is not really the post; it's more so his commentary on the post.
That's what he said. That no, this is what he said.
I understand. Like if he left off the whole aspect of the people in your camp, and if he just said this is not a time for racism, if he left it at that, would that have been okay?
And he's reposting the photo of the. I think that. RG3 is very much, we've talked about it, his whole nanny boo boo. I'm the fly in the buttermilk, I'm the cream in the like all of that. And I get it, you want to make light of it, you feel, before others attack you with it. But I also think you're yielding it as a weapon to try and bait certain responses. And if you just want to be left alone with you and your snow ice queen, right? Cool beans. But don't try and use that angle to provoke people, but then claim that, can't we all just get along? It's disingenuous.
I'll give you that. I will say, outside of his Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark takes, some of his takes, period, on whatever, he's trying to elicit some sort of response. But I'm gonna go ahead and argue and say that there's a lot of podcasters or media folks that do that.
Facts, but are you going to do that and then cry when people hit you with the same thing, right? Don't talk about my wife and kids. Don't bring them up.
It's obviously a sensitive topic for him. And I think when he saw that, it still struck something with him.
Then you got to stop swinging at that time. I mean, I just feel like you got to pick your battles, right? And if you set the tone, hey, my wife are off limits, I love everybody, leave it at that. Don't keep dragging that stuff into it on your part, so that when you say respect my home and my family, you're not using it to antagonize in the same way. Like, be fair. I don't know. I just think that if you really want to be left alone about that, and you don't think that Angel's life is being threatened daily, you don't think that people are wishing and stating that they are going to do some type of harm, actually and otherwise, to Angel Reese within all of this stuff, do you know? Just because you're giving your opinion. So it works both ways. So extend a little grace if you want some of that given too. That's just, kind of what I think as far as that goes. All right. So we're going to we'll start what is going on with your girl, Karrine Steffans. So, she has resurfaced. She appeared on Piers Morgan, and we know she famously wrote about several men in hip hop in her book that was released 20 plus years ago at this point. She is planning a re-release of the book, and she popped up on Piers Morgan to discuss the outcome of the Diddy trial. Now, Piers asked her a question, and fans are talking about the way that Karrine responded. I'm going to let you listen to it, and then I'll tell you what I think is the reason for the way that Karrine responded to this particular question. Having said that, I will say Karrine is smart, she's crafty, and don't forget that when you listen to what's going down. When we come forward, we'll get into the audio of Karrine Steffans. Plus, we're going to be talking Faith Evans versus Biggie's estate and what's going on with Michael Jackson's estate. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black New Jersey Senator Cory Booker wants to ban ICE agents from hiding their identities during arrest.
It's called the Visible Act. And so our bill is trying to actually protect ICE agents, protect the public.
He and Senator Alex Padilla introduced a bill requiring agents to show their agency name and either badge number or name while banning masks. DHS says officers already ID themselves. Rapper Kanye West is facing new accusations of sexual battery and sex trafficking from his former assistant. She claims he raped her and coerced her with false promises about her career, then fired her in 2023 when she rejected him. And Washington, D.C. leaders are not worried about President Trump's latest threat to take over the city. He claimed crime would drop under his control, but Black Bear Muriel Bowser says he's made similar threats for 2 years and they've still worked together on city priorities. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Irvine 405 northbound crowding up away from the 133 freeway, and you're on the brakes in stretches all the way to Westminster Boulevard in Westminster. It's a tough drive out of Garden Grove, eastbound side of the 22, leaving Magnolia Street. Very crowded and slow to the 57-5, and looks pretty slow into Anaheim, 91 eastbound from the 57 freeway to Green River. Tough right now on the 710 in East LA, southbound slowing from the 60. Looking a lot better by the time you make your way to Bandini Boulevard.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Even though the Dodgers have lost 6 in a row, they still have a 5-game lead over San Francisco in the NL West. That lead could shrink if the Dodgers don't break out of their slump. The Dodgers start a 3-game series Friday night in San Francisco. If you're a fan of Airbnbs and you have a 6-figure travel budget, I've got an offer for you. Michael Jordan's former mansion in Highland Park, Illinois, a Chicago suburb, is now available for an Airbnb reservation. Jordan sold the home in December for $9.5 million. Your finances have to be be in order if you want to stay in Jordan's former home. A $25,000 security deposit is required when you make the reservation. You also have to stay a minimum 7 nights, which likely will push your tab over $100,000. The home has 7 bedrooms, 17 and a half bathrooms, a swimming pool, tennis court, and a basketball court. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33 and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yeah.
Let K. Michelle's Kitchen Catering bring your world of flavors to your next event. For all occasions, from casual brunches to office lunches, weddings, and glamour affairs, call us today at 310-819-6213 or go to kmichellekitchencatering.com or on Instagram at kmichelles_kitchen catering or Facebook at K. Michelle's Kitchen Catering. We look forward to cooking for you soon. Call 310-819-6213. 310-819-6213.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Carl Thomas and Emotional. Are we doing a faith all night? We getting all the little faith drops in. I appreciate it though. Faith's got a catalog. I enjoy bangers. Okay, so first off, shout out to Bronny James. Summer League is happening right now in Vegas. Bronny's Lakers. Yes, Bronny's Lakers. Is taking off against, who did Cooper Flag get drafted to? Dallas. Oh, the Mavericks. Right. That's right. After the storm comes the sunshine. That's what happened with the Mavs this year. So, yeah, Cooper's not afraid to shoot. He's locked and loaded in that. And Bronny's doing his thing. I think it should just be coming into the third quarter right now. So, anyway, shout out to that. We always got to drop those facts. Okay. Karrine Steffans, who actually has changed her name to Elizabeth Overseen, but it's kind of Karrine at times. I don't know. It's confusing with her. So she appeared on Piers Morgan's show. He has a YouTube show. And the conversation surrounded the Diddy ruling. So let's check out this conversation, and then I will translate what I think is happening here.
Did you actually ever have any kind of sexual relationship at all then?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you actually have any kind of sexual relationship with Diddy at all?
No, Diddy and I did not. No, well, not to my knowledge.
So, what do you mean by that?
Not to my knowledge. I don't. Honestly, I'm questioning a lot of things right now.
Well, you think
so not to my knowledge. No, I don't think anything right now. I just, not to my knowledge, because honestly.
That's a very strange response, though, to not remember whether you did or not.
Yeah, isn't it? It is. Yeah, it is. Because honestly, Piers, before I went through my text, again, I hadn't read Confessions in 20 years. I wrote it. It was painful to write. So I never wanted to re-traumatize myself and go through those years again. I've been quiet this whole time, and I disappeared off of social. I just disappeared for the past year waiting for this thing to unfold. In the unfolding of what I believe to be facts, and definitely the testimonies of Cassie and Jane and even some of the men, and then looking back at the text, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, when he said, if anything got out, and I'm like, and I remember at the time being so confused, like anything like what got out? Like nothing happened. We hung out. You were kind. At some point I went to sleep. I don't know when, but I woke up and then we had breakfast and you were kind and I left. Nothing happened. I don't know, Piers. I feel, just in the last 24 hours, I question what I thought I knew about my time with him.
So, one, Karrine wrote in her book that she and Diddy were intimate. So, let's start there. Two, we know that Karrine likes to court attention and likes to deal in innuendo and, possiblies and maybes and drag you down that path. But it kind of felt like she was leaving room that if she needed to, she could drop her own accusations and, maybe get her own little civil situation popping off. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that is what she's doing. I'm saying that is what it felt like she was doing, right? Because she said she just recently reread Confessions of a Video Vixen. Well, like I said, in there, she says she and Diddy were intimate. So you forgot, but you just reread the book. Maybe you didn't get to that part yet. You didn't want to revisit it before you came on the show. You're about to re-release this book, an updated version for the 20th anniversary. I'm just, I think Karrine plays games. That's all. Those are my thoughts on that. All right, let's get into this Faith Evans situation because it seems like it could just be a misunderstanding, but some people feel like it could be a $200 million power play. So according to court documents filed this week, Wayne Burrow, he is the trustee of the Voletta Wallace Revocable Trust. He's suing Faith, alleging she withheld money from the estate of the Notorious B.I.G. He said back in March of 2024, Primary Wave, a powerhouse music catalog acquisitions company, announced a deal to acquire 50% of Biggie's estate, estimated by the Wall Street Journal to be worth $200 million. Voletta, who co-managed the estate, helped negotiate the deal before her death in February 2024. Barrow claims that since her passing, Faith has been distributing proceeds to Biggie's children, Tiana and CJ Wallace, while cutting the trust out entirely. So now he's asking the court to strip Faith of her managerial role in the estate's LLC. Is this really about legacy or is it about control? And remember, Faith, after Biggie passed, gave that to Voletta Wallace. There was no will. She was his legal wife of standing, so everything went to her. She cut in Voletta. Voletta's passed away. She's still taking care of his children, the son she has with him, and his daughter from a prior relationship. I don't know. Seems like maybe, obviously probably draws a salary from the trust. I'm not sure what Voletta is funded, but I guess we'll see should it make it to court. Pretty Brown Mimi says, how much money did Karrine Steffans make from her book? Is this a money grab? The money that she made from her book was a long time ago. That money is long gone. Wash, done, out of here. There were a lot of interest in Karrine's story. Now, here's the flip side. I do believe at various points Karrine was absolutely threatened, intimidated, maybe blackballed in some measure, but she seemed to have overcome all of that. And we've been back and forth with a lot of things. If you haven't kept up with Karrine over the years, she pulls a lot of stunts and shows. So I'm not sure. Morris Phillips says, regarding the Piers Morgan interview, the young lady is trying to sell her book. I don't believe she's a victim. I do believe she's been scarred. So we'll have to see. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. We have a caller on the line. We're going to get into that and so much more. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
LA County's Justice Care and Opportunities Department, also known as JCOD, is changing the justice system for Angelenos. If you or someone you love has recently been arrested, come home from jail or prison, or has been justice involved, JCOD can help. We offer access to housing, employment, court reminders, clothing, education, and more. At JCOD, we believe your life should not be defined by your worst moment, and everyone deserves a second chance. JCOD's Justice Connect Support Center is open 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Call us at 833-LAC JCOD. That's 833-522-5263, or visit us at jcod.lacounty.gov. You can also find us on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and YouTube at LAC JCOD. All services are free and confidential. JCOD serves the justice-impacted population all across LA County. Your future isn't behind you, it's waiting. Reach out by calling 833-LAC-JCOD. That's 833-522-5263, or visit jcod.lacounty.gov.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So we have a caller on the line, Eric from Carson. He wants to get into this Faith Evans story. Eric, what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I did some research, and it appears that the Biggie estate was worth $10 million, and when he passed in 1997, and now it's grown to 160 to 200 million. And Faith, as you stated, as the wife and no will, she technically is had the rights to his catalog. And from what I understand, his mother, Voletta Wallace, her estate is suing Faith Evans and saying that she withheld certain monies from the estate. And the way I see it, now that his mother is deceased, his wife, his last wife, and his two children, they are his estate, right?
I mean, legally on paper, it might say, there is a division. It depends on what was in her paperwork, what was in whatever agreement they drew up. I mean, certainly they are a part of it and entitled to some portion. It just depends on what was in the legal documents that were drawn up as far as the situation goes. It could just be a misunderstanding. It could be that it could be any number of things. We won't really know until it further plays out. But I can't imagine after all this time, there's never been any conversation that I can recall of Faith doing wrong by his estate or Miss Voletta. So, we'll just have to see how it all unfolds.
I'll just say that when individuals have to bring in a third party, i.e. a court, a judge, to resolve a matter, that to me is a little greater than a misunderstanding. If we can't come to an understanding amongst ourselves, I think that's an issue.
It is. Thank you for your call as always, Eric. We appreciate you. So tonight we are also getting into, because it's legal things. We're talking Law and Order. Michael Jackson's estate is suing Frank Cascio. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And I mean, look, as I said, we continue to roll through the legal situations that are happening across entertainment. But generally speaking, the common theme, fiber, or thread is lack of paperwork. I can't express enough, and this doesn't just go for celebrity or, entertainment-based relationships. Get your paperwork in order. It will save so much time and grief. So, Michael's estate has filed a lawsuit against Frank Cascio. He's a longtime friend and former manager, accusing him of civil extortion and breaking a 2020 confidentiality agreement. So the filing claims that Cascio demanded over $200 million to stay quiet about allegedly damaging stories. So the attorney, Martin D. Singer, says a textbook case of extortion. After years of loyalty, suddenly there's a price tag. Arbitration began in September 2024, but the estate is now asking for the court to enforce the NDA and block any public discourse, right? So basically, they don't want him talking to the press, trying to do an interview, getting paid, blah, blah, blah. It's not the first time that this gentleman has been a PR headache. Influencers Grace Glenn and Julia Garachi recently accused him of shady behavior involving large cash requests after promising them industry access. So seems like, he's one of those people moving and shaking, always got an angle, and is trying to take advantage of it, right? But when you were talking about MJ's legacy, his estate, the brand partnerships, the upcoming film that is coming out, it's a high stakes legal chessboard. So we'll have to see what develops from that. But people are always angling. We live in a litigious society, and people will play games with your money. I don't know. We'll have to see what develops. So listen, of course, that's not it for the night. We always have more trending topics and headlines, but before we get into those, I want to read a little bit more about what's going on in the chat because there's a lot of conversation. Morris Phillips says, this is regarding Piers Morgan, don't forget that Piers Morgan is a Western European. He sees the world through Eurovision lens. What exactly does that mean? Pretty Brown Mimi says, out of all the pod shows out there, Karrine Steffans decides to be interviewed by the polarizing anti-black Piers Morgan. Yikes on bikes. And let's see. Pretty Brown Mimi also says that Faith Evans is Biggie's widow and shared with his mother and kids. What's the problem here? She perhaps, again, it depends on the paperwork, is supposed to continue to fund whatever is in the trust, perhaps. Don't know how that works. There might be other charities attached to that. Anything could be going on with that. Let's see. Morris Phillips also says, like Thomas or Ibrahim, African Marcus was the pioneer and Brother Malcolm was the force. Oh, he's talking about Pan-Africanism. And in a conversation that I jumped in the middle. So sorry about that, y'all. I'm just trying to make sure the chat is represented here when we talk about all things. So, okay. I know that we have talked about female rap. We have talked about, what do we call, Andy, the elder statesmen of rap and what they're dropping right now? How do we differentiate that?
I don't know, but do we have elder statements?
Snoop, Nas,
oh, you call them
LL.
Elder. You call them elder, okay.
Elder statesmen of rap. I'm not saying, but that's why I'm asking what's the appropriate term.
Old heads.
Okay.
It's hip hop, so we a little bit direct and rough and rugged with it. So.
Old heads.
Old heads.
Well, old head Snoop got together with youngin' Sexy Red, and they've dropped a song for the summer.
YN.
That's what I said.
You said youngin'.
Well, I didn't want to call her a YN because she's a woman.
Okay, I got you.
So I just said youngin'. I feel like YN and ON is strictly reserved for the MEN.
Please tell me you saw that video of that breakdown. It was this gentleman. He was like, if you're 30 and 45, you're an OG. You know what I'm saying? If you're 45 and up, you a triple OG or something like that. And he was like, if you're 25 to 30, you're an uncle or something like that. I need to see that video.
I saw something about it. I think it's ridiculous. I do. Like, why are people so pressed to push people off into yonder land? Or
what's wrong with embracing the age?
It's not about not embracing.
You can call me
your
uncle
age.
anytime.
It's not about we've had this kind. It's not about not embracing the age, but I'm like, what is the rush to put? I feel like. Do you feel like a 29-year-old is unk?
No.
Only to a 12-year-old, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, I don't get it. We look better than ever. We're healthier than ever, and I'm saying we combined, right? Why y'all want to constantly push people off a cliff?
It's respect. You're older. You're significantly older.
Yes,
so
but
salute to you. Well, don't call me nephew then.
Perhaps. But I do think that most are not saying this unk and auntie to be respectful. They're being respectfully funny.
Nah, I disagree. And only because I never said auntie, but I would call women, my peers, ma'am. I'll call the homies. What's up, sir?
Okay, but let me ask you this. When you were a teen in your youth, right?
That's how I was talking.
Let me ask you this. No. If somebody was like, she dressed like an auntie. She looked like an auntie. Is that being respectful? He looked like unk. Is that in reverence or is that in you kind of clowning?
It's an age.
No, that's
It's a
not what I.
reflection of
You're
age.
kind of clowning.
No,
you kind of clowning. Come on, admit
But
it.
it's not nothing negative. It's just like the you know what I'm saying, the uncle that's behind the grill with the open toe sandals.
Right.
Is that a diss or is that reverence? Because people clown them
reverence.
shoes.
Right, but let me ask you this. If you 30, do you want to be known for wearing them shoes? When you think about that individual, you thinking about somebody significantly older in a different phase of life. Stop playing, Andy. Listen, each and every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m., we're right here on air, hitting these trending topics, headlines, and of course, you know, sometimes these controversial life topics, we like to get into it. Coming up next is your conscience in a good way. The voice of reason, Zoe Williams. I'll see you guys tomorrow.